How many budgets have you covered?
Federal,
Yeah.
15 or 20.
Yeah.
They're actually pretty much all the same, especially pre-election budgets. Always have a bit of fear-mongering.
Tonight, as we gather, war rages in Europe. The global pandemic is not over. Devastating floods have battered our communities. We live in uncertain times.
Josh Frydenberg's painting a world that's like beyond Thunderdome. He's Mad Max. And Anthony Albanese and the ALP are these guys. Last year, the Treasurer had great expectations for the nation. This year, it's more, how great are we?
We have overcome the biggest economic shock since the Great Depression.
And you and I and everyone else should be grateful for it.
Please, sir, I want some more.
He says our recovery leads the world.
No denying that. Better than the US, UK, Canada, France, Germany, Italy and Japan. But we can't be complacent.
I have a cunning plan to solve the problem.
Josh was very keen for us to understand that he is a man with a plan.
A plan for the times. Our economic plan with a plan that backs Australians. This is a time to stick to our plan.
A plan to buy some time so you can roll ScoMo in 2024, right, Josh?
I love it when a plan comes together.
It's not just Frydenberg and Hannibal that loves a plan.
Australians want a plan, and our plan.
Because if you don't have a plan, you won't have a stronger future. And in a pre-election budget, the promise of a stronger future is critical.
Skilling Australians is part of our plan for a stronger future. Lower taxes for small business is part of our plan for a stronger future. Delivering our record infrastructure pipeline is a vital plan for a stronger future.
And the last thing that every pre-election budget speech focuses on is...
jobs.
JobKeeper saved 700,000 jobs. Create new jobs. That creates more jobs. 10,000 jobs. 100,000 jobs.
Don't we all have jobs?
Good point. He's banging on about the low unemployment rate.
Tonight, I confirm to the House, unemployment is at 4%, the equal lowest in 48 years. There are now nearly 2 million Australians more in work today than when we came to government.
Yeah, that's because you kicked all the foreign muck out of the country during COVID, Josh, and we only just let them back in.
We have a historic opportunity to get young Australians into skilled, secured and well-paid jobs.
Where are these people coming from? Dish pigs are earning $40 an hour at the moment. Even the Paxtons would be working.
I'll wake up about 9 o'clock, look at the clock, think, why do I have to get out of bed?
More women in work than ever before.
More women getting abused than ever before. The government's exposed here and it knows it, so rightly is throwing the kitchen sink at the problem.
With a new $1.3 billion package to end violence against women and children.
Reckon Josh can deliver on his promises?
Ending violence against women and children forever? No. It was a no Australian child will live in poverty overreach that will come back to haunt him. As for the other promises, well, Josh is the Deliveroo of Australian politics.
And this is what we deliver tonight. More people would be in work and we delivered. And we delivered. We delivered.
Yeah. This guy's still gloating about delivering on last year's budget.
Last year's budget saw a landmark $2.3 billion investment in mental health. In last year's budget.
Before. You're living in the past, Marge. Quit living in the past.
Couple of one-off payments.
We've been drip-fed these ones. 6 million people get $250 cost of living payments, which, if Josh's timing is right, will be delivered on the morning of the election.
Pensioners, carers, veterans, job seekers, eligible self-funded retirees and concession card holders will benefit.
And there's a one-off cost of living tax offset.
$420 cost of living tax offset for more than 10 million low and middle income earners.
Which is good news for McDonald's and meth dealers, which is where a lot of the money will be spent.
Hey, at least petrol will be cheaper for 6 months.
We picked this one in last night's episode.
We did.
Whatever fuel cuts we do end up getting won't be permanent. Probably last 6 months. The reasoning being that 3 months would be seen to be too cynical because it would take it just past the election, but 12 months would cost way too much money. The fuel tax cut was the hero of the 2022 budget. They put it out there that it was going to be 10 cents or maybe 20 cents. It was actually 22 cents.
A family with 2 cars who fill up once a week could save $30 a week or around $700 over the next 6 months.
Add a couple of cents to what everyone expected, and the lead paragraph is suddenly better than expected rather than as expected. It's the best 2-cent investment you could ever make.
The competition watchdog will monitor retailers to make sure that these savings are passed on in full.
That would be the same competition watchdog
That's been unable to stop us getting shafted by the fuel cycle. Yes, that one. The petrol promise is welcome because, as Josh said,
Too many are living lives of quiet desperation.
there was the usual stuff about nation building,
Nation-building projects like the Melbourne to Brisbane Inland Rail. Tonight's budget includes new commitments to road and rail projects. The Metronet project in Western Australia.
Whoa, did you ask to play with Mark's train set? There was no mention of arts and culture, but we've already nailed that.
Take me to the April sun in Cuba. I can't remember the words.
Very little mention of debt, and when he did, it was always in fractions and percentages.
The deficit for 22-23 is expected to be $78 billion or 3.4% of GDP. Over the next 3 years, this will more than halve to 1.6%. Net debt as a share of our economy will peak at 33.1% at the 30th of June 2026.
Fractions and percentages sounds better than a whole number when the whole number you're dealing with is
$100 billion.
$800 billion actually, which scarily is less than we thought it would be. There was a little bit about the environment.
Our government is safeguarding Australia's unique environment for future generations, saving 10 million tonnes of recyclables from landfill every year by 2030.
Too late for Christian Porter though.
No longer are we exporting waste, we are recycling it here at home.
Josh came perilously close to misleading the House when he talked about the government's climate change credentials.
Australia is on the pathway to net zero emissions by 2050 and playing its part in responding to the critical global challenge of climate change.
And he was very proud of our health system.
Medicare is guaranteed. Bulk billing rates are at a record high.
That's because we've all got COVID, Josh. He talked about how supply chain disruption meant self-reliance in industry was crucial, stressed that he was a friend of ma and pa businesses.
We're also backing small businesses that are embracing the digital revolution.
Have you used email before?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy, isn't it?
Was committed to protecting us from email scammers.
$9.9 billion 10-year investment in Australia's offensive and defensive cyber capabilities.
And he hinted at a new aged care strategy. Dose the old dears up with Oxy so they stop complaining.
More than $340 million in new funding to embed pharmacy services within residential aged care facilities.
Strengthening national security is also high on the agenda.
This one always plays well.
The lesson of history is that weakness invites aggression.
But it's an expensive exercise.
A 10-year defence capability plan worth more than $270 billion.
So it's a good thing we're selling a lot of iron ore, principally to foreign powers, who are busily turning it into this, and these, which means we need to spend more on our military.
Expanding the size of our defence workforce at a cost of $38 billion.
Which requires us to make more money from selling more iron ore. And the war keeps raging.
Yeah, it's a dangerous world out there.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome!
Don't worry, Josh has got our back.
We don't need another hero.
I'm Ben Harvey. For more Up Late, click the subscribe button below.